I identify as jacked, handsome, and wonderful and successful. Those are my preferred adjectives, right? You will hurt my feelings if you don't refer to me as jacked, handsome, intelligent, charming, and so I don't have, you have a right to freedom of speech. I don't have a right to control your language. That's not how it works. There's no right to not have your feelings hurt. There's no right to control other people's language. The right is on the other side. Okay. So yes, people should be polite and kind and civil within reason. But actually, if you are now trying to control someone else's language and force them to call you something, especially something that you are not, you don't have a right to do that at all. At all. That's not a right.
If I turned around and I said to you, from today, I'm going to be a virgin. Right? Yeah.
Hey, there are some of those. Today, the born again.
I'm going to be a virgin now. Yeah. And everybody has to identify me as a virgin. Don't worry about the 3 grandchildren and my 36-year-old son. I am going to be a virgin. And I'm not going to, and anybody else who says to me that I'm not a virgin, I'm going to sue them. I'm going to go to the newspapers and I'm going to be up in arms because I am now identifying as a virgin. And I said to you, you have to see me as a virgin. Would you feel happy about that?
But I think we keep creating examples that are not very relative to this conversation. Obviously, being a virgin, that is a very objective thing. Someone identifying as a man or woman, we've not been able to identify. We've not been able to explain what a man and a woman is. If there was...
Everyone else has.
Well, you guys have, because you have one way of thinking. You've decided.
Can I ask a question? Can I ask you a question, honestly? Yeah? When did you start believing what you're saying now?
When I started listening to people, because it's not about me.
No. Honestly, when specifically did you start believing this?
To be fair, I've always grown up with that belief of let people be whatever they want to believe. And let me explain. Okay. I'm a minority, right? Being black in the UK especially, I know how hard it is when the majority think that you are in the wrong. And maybe that is that compassion that I have for them because we are the majority. We have the privilege because we were born as our gender. So we have the privilege to say, no, that's how you feel.
Everyone was born as their gender.
No. So the gender that we identify as. But my point is that we are the privileged to be able to say that is our identity. However, some people don't have that. And I feel like being a minority and knowing what it feels like for somebody to be like, no, you're less than, or no, let me finish. Okay, so you can. Someone saying that's the way it should be. No, I have a problem with that because, no, if I was on the other foot and I was born as a man and I want to identify as a woman, I would be pissed off if somebody told me that I can't be what I want to be.
Nobody's saying that.
Nobody's saying that.
It doesn't affect you.
Nobody's saying that.
But you are, because if I go into...
I'm not saying, I'm saying you are not you are objectively not that thing. If you were sitting here telling me that you are white, right? I'll be like, you're not white. You can say that you are. You can feel like it. You can act like it, whatever that means. You could even go and bleach your skin. You could do whatever you like. You have the right to do that. You're an adult. You have the right to do whatever you want. You can have cosmetic procedures. You can do what you like. But you're not white. Objectively, you're not. Like that's the thing. You know, identifying thing. It opens up an entire Pandora's box of anything because you can identify as anything, right? So, and as I said, I support someone's right to live their life as they want to. I'm not going to treat. I know more just because I know so many people. Period. I know more Most people don't know any transgender people. I know multiple transgender people. I know some. Right. And I will treat any human being with respect and dignity and civility. What I will not do is distort the truth and lie to make someone feel happy, and you don't need to do that, right? You can respect people and be kind and be honest and also protect the truth.
That's but is it the truth though? That's what I'm trying to say. Because we humans are so complex.
But see, I agree with you.
So
but this
what
is
they're living is not the truth?
No. No.
In reality, it's not.
No, it's not.
It's very hypocritical to say.
No, it's not hypocritical. The reason I ask why I'm assuming you only started believing what you're saying quite recently.
I personally, I don't know when I started believing it. I think I've always just grown up with, like I said, be whatever. As long as you're not hurting anybody.
When you were 15, okay?
I don't think I ever thought about it.
Okay.
I guess the conversation is coming up a lot more.
Of course.
And I decided I'm not going to tell someone how they feel. I'm not going to do that because Who am I to tell you that you're not a woman?
Wait. The same person you are to say that this table is not circular and yellow.
That's objective. We humans can't be objective in everything that we do. We can't be objective. We're too complex.
Can I just say, right? You was bringing up about being black and how you're used to people. You know, you're raised being black and being downtrodden, so you understand how they feel. You didn't choose to be black. That's the way you are. They're choosing to change their sex.
That's not what they believe, though.
I don't care whether they believe. I can believe that I'm white.
The self-identity thing does not work. It doesn't work.
There's so many different things. Oh, and then you can turn around and say that I can say that I'm white. I'm speaking like this. What am I going to get called coconut? But nothing's going to change.
What about height? I mean, some men are 5'4" and they'd much rather be 6'4". Can a man identify as 6'4"? He could genuinely feel. He could be very confident, and I feel like I'm in the wrong body. I'm 6'4", but you are objectively not 6'4". You can feel like that.
That can be judged by like the way you look. We can actually measure you. You don't look 6'4".
Okay, but
we can take a cell from any part of a woman's body and look at it under a microscope, and you can see XX chromosome. That's a woman. Absolutely.
That's the sides.
But that gender person don't look like a woman.
Are you questioning? Are you questioning that it's not chromosome?
No. I'm not saying that it's. I just think that's a factor as a woman. I think some people, you can be a man. You can have the XX chromosome, and guess what? You could grow up being more masculine than anyone.
But that doesn't make you.
Doesn't make you a man.
A man.
You can be a masculine woman.
But you don't want to be a feminine man. Just because you have your XY chromosome,
I don't want to be broke, but sometimes I am.
Hey, we pretty good here.
God could create you that way. Just because you didn't have the XY chromosome, just because you can't reproduce, doesn't.
Okay, can I ask a question? Why would it be important to that person for me to believe and so-called affirm their delusion?
Validation.
Delusion. Because you keep calling it a delusion. That's the problem.
If I came in here and
if you actually change the way you talk about it.
Look, let's be real. If I said that I was 6'5", right? If I said I am 6'5", okay, and I insist on it, and I get triggered, I get mad. I'm trying to get everyone to say I am 6'5", right? Is that a delusion?
Yes. Yeah, but
is that me being reasonable? Am I being the reasonable one by trying to force everyone to accommodate that? Is that me being reasonable? Are they being unreasonable by saying no? You're not.
No, but you can measure that.
You can tell very easily if someone is male or female with 100% accuracy.
If I walked in here and said I identify as you're 26, right? Yeah. I identify as being 26. That you can't measure, but I could just go around. And by the way, that's much more believable than you saying you're a man.
Yeah, but by the same argument,
will say whether you're male or female.
Yes. But I don't know.
So I could identify and say, look, I feel more that I'm your age, I'm 26. Like my brain could be living in the past of I'm 26. It's registered on my birth certificate just the same as being a female is.
And by the way, there is such a thing as biological age in terms of your health and other factors. So you can be 40 years old, but sort of have a biological age of 32, say, if you're in very good shape and so on. Again, we could argue that.
Can I just make a point to that?
Sure.
When birth certificates were created and identifying as men and women, we haven't really understood humans. We're only understanding things now. You've got to think
Can I ask you a question?
Being gay was considered a mental condition.
What do you mean by understanding humans? What does that mean?
We had a one way of thinking about things. So because your XY chromosome, you have a vagina, you're a woman. But now we're starting to see that that's not the case. We need to adapt to it. We need to adapt. They can't just have so many people. What do we want them to do? No, are we just going to say all of them have mental conditions? question.
So baby's
Yes.
supposed to come out
Yes.
and be like,
I-
wham.
Okay,
That's how you're supposed to know if they're
if I started going around and saying I am black, you wouldn't think something's wrong with me. You wouldn't think I'm delusional.
Yeah, but that's categorized.
What do you mean?
Black, you
Male
can
and
see that
female
you're
as a
black.
category. We have bathrooms, male, female.
So
It's been like, what if I use that same
as I
argument?
said.
What if I use that same argument? Okay, and I said, well, throughout all of history, we've known what black and white is, and now today we're gonna change it, and now I am black.
Can I just ask something? If you was on a sinking ship and they said women and children first, trans.
Oh, you know this happened in Ukraine?
Really?
Yeah, because in Ukraine, the men were not allowed to leave.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's
right?
true.
And there were men who identified as women
They had
who
to
were
stay.
trying to leave, and they were like, "No, bro, you're staying. You're staying and
If you
fighting."
was on a
They're
sinking
like,
ship and they said women and children first, and somebody identifies, big butch identifying woman says, "Hey, I'm before you." How would you feel? That
But
they're
I don't
going
know
on-
the person.
Would you? So I have a question. I have a question.
So close-minded.
I'll be off that boat. I'll be there with my
Wait,
kid.
so
I identified as a woman. I'm strolling off with the kids and the ladies.
Let me put it this way. You're in a school. You're a mother. You got children, and they're in school, and they're teaching about transgender. And your son comes home and says, "Right, mum, I need the girls' school uniform first. Today I'm identifying as a girl. We talked about gender, and I realised I don't want to be a boy. I don't want to wear trousers. I want the girls' school uniform, little pretty filly socks, and I'm now a girl, mum."
I mean, it will be very difficult for me to understand, but I will be open-minded enough to understand why my child has come to that decision. I think just being closed-minded to it completely, that is not allowing people to live.
I
So
disagree
would
with
you-
that.
would you
Matt.
take-
It's not
would
being
you-
closed-minded because
would you
there's
take your child
adults.
to school like that? Would you allow your son to wear a dress to school?
Initially, probably not.
Can I just say
Why
something?
not?
Because I grew up in a very traditional household.
Is that being
I was-
closed-minded though?
Yeah, I do think being traditional is quite close-minded because you're not trying to understand people. I'm not saying I'm so for it, like be transgender. I'm just saying I am willing to learn. I am willing to listen to how you feel, why you feel it. I want it to be more studies.
Yes.
I want us
So-
to be more.
So I have
forward
a
about
question,
this.
but at what cost? At what cost?
It's
So
not
so
cost
so
of
okay.
anything.
Okay. Thank you, Blessing. Okay, so at what cost? And what I mean by that is, okay, it starts with you just say their gender pronouns when you meet them, right? And you just treat them as the opposite, like I don't know, whatever they're pretending to be that day. But would you be cool with them playing in women's sports? Transgender, and then what if now we don't have women's sports because all the
Are you an athlete?
Does my deadlift record hold?
I mean, in terms of that, I do think there should be a whole different category for them. Just because I think it's quite unfair for a man that now identify as a woman to then say that he wants to.
But he's a woman.
that's
I know, but because we've already had a long-standing definition in terms of sports, like the way that you participate in terms of hormones as well. Men are stronger.
But
So
this is a woman.
Plus, it takes the hormone pills
I'm not
to
saying they're
soften.
completely like a man or a woman. I think we should just allow them to be understood. So creating a whole new category for transgender, I'm for that because you know what? That's what they feel like. So compete with yourselves.
But that's not what they want because they want to be accepted 100% and affirmed 100% as women. And if you're going to do that, you now have no rational argument to prevent that male who identifies as a woman from competing in women's sports because that's now a woman.
I mean, I think there definitely needs to be more studies because in terms of
what study do you need? Like, I'm sorry, I'm serious.
Like, we're not doing enough studies.
Okay,
I'm not
I
going
just
to
feel
lie.
like, what study do you need? Like, what? I don't give a damn what study they put in front of me. If I see a dude that's 6'4", jacked, and looks like a dude, acts like a dude, walks like a dude, talks like a dude, and then's competing in the women's swimming category, I don't need a study to tell me that's a dude.